A warm welcome to the morning call. And ascending political rivalry between the Democratic Alliance and South Africa's ruling party, the ANC, is yet to calm as polls open today in the country for their municipal elections. Now, polls show that the ANC, with President Jacob Zuma at the head, is unlikely to manage victory in any of the three major cities so far contested by the two parties. Now, in the face of controversy and violent protests over the mayoral candidate Thoko Didiza.
These elections are considered as a test for the ruling party of Jacob Zuma, involved in different scandals in the past few months. Some analysts say it's a sanction vote in some of the regions in the country. The opposition could therefore gain ground. It's represented by the Democratic Alliance on one part, which questions its management capacities and criticizes corruption in the ANC party and the Economic Freedom Fighters Party. It's a more radicalized party whose agenda include important waves of nationalization or confiscation and distribution of white land. But what are the real stakes of these municipal elections? To better understand this, we discussed with Professor Somadoda Fikeni. There's been a lot of talk about these elections being different from the previous polls. What's your take on that?
The contestation and the possibility of a ruling party losing some of the big municipalities, or the metros as we call them here, is one that is causing a lot of excitement, because since 1994, ANC has been a dominant single party in all elections, and all of a sudden now it looks like the possibility of ANC losing some of the strategic and highly symbolic municipalities, or even needing to use coalition to retain some of them. That in itself has excited the opposition and has also caused the ANC to panic and try to fight back.
Most observers tend to say that the ANC, having lost its original identity and reputation recently, it no longer has the same legitimacy. What do you make of this analysis?
Very first instance, after 22 years, most of the liberation organizations lose that narrative of saying we liberated the country, and the new voters start looking at the actual delivery. So that in itself is one of the things to say all the promises of liberation, some of them have not been realized. The second one, the perception of the high levels of corruption, the infighting and factionalism within the ANC itself, and some of the scandals that have been associated with the ANC leaders, particularly the president, who at times has been on the wrong side of the law, losing one case after the other. All those have created reputational risk, and ultimately ANC used to fight the elections quite effectively, having its tripartite alliance members, the unions, as well as the South African Communist Party and its leagues, the Women's League and the Youth League. Most of those are either divided, are fragmented, and are weakened. So ANC has had to do a lot of election fighting or campaigning on its own.
And what could be the outcome of the elections in terms of voter preferences?
Well, I do think that in the rural areas in the main, which have not been the main focus of the opposition parties, ANC is largely going to remain dominant, sometimes with a reduced majority. But it is in the metros or the urban areas where there seem to be a lot of focus because of the concentration of white population, of the middle class, including the black middle class. That's where you do have a lot of diversity of preferences and some frustrations amongst even the ANC's own traditional constituencies.
Thank you very much, Professor Somadoda. That was Somadoda Fikeni, a political analyst, speaking to us from Johannesburg. We'll be right back with the African